Is Lamar Valley on your list of places to visit in Yellowstone National Park? We're going to cover what you need to know when you visit this iconic place within the park. Hey there, I'm Alex from Alex on the Map, and I am a frequent Yellowstone visitor since I was a teenager, I think. My dad used to take me down to Yellowstone, and honestly, I was not that interested at that age, but now I love it. Lamar Valley is a place I always like to stop whenever I visit, just for a chance to maybe spot some of Yellowstone's incredible wildlife. Even if you are not a big wildlife person, it's still worth a drive through because you never know what you might see and it might change your mind. We're gonna go over some of the basic information you need to know about visiting Lamar Valley and include some tips and FAQs for you to make the most of your time there. One quick tip before we get started, I definitely recommend visiting in the fall if you can. Animals are more active during this time because they're getting ready for winter, and it's just a truly magical time to be there because you also don't have the crowds. Let's go over what you need to know about Lamar Valley before you visit. Lamar Valley runs from Tower Junction in the northwestern part of the park to the east entrance on the east side of the park. It is known as America's Serengeti because there's just such a huge chance of spotting wildlife. I don't think we've ever driven through there where we haven't seen bison, antelope, some sort of animal that you're going to be excited about and want to take pictures of. However, what Lamar is most famous for is its population of wolves. These guys have kind of gotten pretty famous considering wolves are really elusive and they are hard to spot in the wild. So this is one of the best opportunities to get to see them pretty much anywhere. I do recommend grabbing a pair of binoculars if wolves and grizzlies are on your list of animals you want to see, just because you don't want to get too close and you want to be able to see them from a distance, and everyone is safe that way. This is also such a big area for photographers, as you can imagine, because the chances of spotting wildlife are so high, and oftentimes they're just right off the side of the road, so it makes for some really great pictures. Do keep in mind that this is a several-hour activity because Lamar Valley is quite big. It's also located on a more remote area of the park, so you're going to have to drive there and drive back most likely if you are visiting in a day. The best way to see wildlife, in my opinion, is to pick a spot, park your car in a turnout, and simply wait for quite a while. Go ahead and bring your snacks and your beverages. Just make sure they are all packed up and you leave no trace when you go. And be on the lookout for crows, hawks, birds of prey who are circling above, because that's usually a good indication that there is a dead animal, and then these predators are going to want to go check that out for their next meal. If you are planning on driving through Lamar Valley, there are also a few scenic stops that you might want to make along the way. Personally, I think the major highlight of visiting is for the animals, but there are a few sites that are worth checking out, especially if you are making Lamar Valley your whole day thing. I would recommend checking out my blog post linked to in the description below for each of these stops and why you might want to stop there. It just breaks things down a little bit more so you can decide if it's worth stopping and if you're going to take time out of your day to do so. Another thing to keep in mind is that Lamar Valley is a great hiking spot. While it's often overlooked for other areas of the park, it's seriously a great spot to backpack if you are interested in that, and if you're interested in taking on a slightly tougher hike. Again, you're also likely to see a lot of wildlife, so that's pretty exciting. For a day hike, the Lamar Valley Trail is definitely the one you will want to take on. You can do it as a backpacking trip for 32 miles, but you can also do just a section of it at 7.1, which is why I recommend it for a day hike. This takes you right through the heart of the valley, so your opportunity for seeing wildlife like bison, antelope, things like that is very high. However, if you are looking for an overnight challenge, the Specimen Ridge backpacking trail is fantastic. Not only do you get some incredible views of the surrounding mountains, and it is a little bit of a challenge as you do so. Think like close to 3,000 feet of elevation gain. It's also a very popular spot for spotting grizzly bears, so bear spray is an absolute must on this trail. Here are some tips I found for visiting Lamar Valley, and also maybe some tips for catching a glimpse of those wolves and grizzlies. First of all, knowing the rules of driving within Yellowstone and surrounding wildlife is very important. If you do happen to see something off the side of the road, you're not supposed to just stop, unfortunately, and take your picture. I mean, obviously stop if other people have stopped, because then there's going to be a car accident and that's not good for anyone. But for the most part, if you are driving and you see something on the road, continue on at a slow pace until you can get to a turnout on the side of the road so other cars can pass if needed. However, the exception to this rule is when there are animals on the road. Obviously, we do not want to hit them. And you're also going to want to keep a very safe distance from your car to the animal, and do not leave your car in order to take a picture or to get out for a better view. I see this all the time when I'm visiting Yellowstone, and it always gives me anxiety knowing someone's getting out to see a bear. It's just, please don't do that. However, you're honestly way more likely to see those animals like wolves and bears if you just kind of be patient and, as I mentioned, sit on the side of the road in a turnout and just wait. There are some hardcore photographers with the giant lenses who sit around all day waiting for their shot, which is incredible to me. If you don't see exactly what you want to, there is always the option of coming back if you have several days in Yellowstone. And if this is high on your bucket list, then it might be worth it to make a trip back in order to get to see what you want to. All right, here are some common FAQs I get about visiting Lamar Valley in Yellowstone. Where is Lamar Valley located within the park? Lamar Valley is located at the northern part of Yellowstone, so just a little farther from Mammoth Hot Springs. Once you reach Tower Junction and you continue going east, then that's where Lamar Valley is. When is the best time to visit Lamar Valley? I'm personally biased toward fall because I just think it's an amazing time to see animals out and about, getting ready for those winter months. You also have the elk mating season, so there's a lot of bugling and cool things going on there with elk fighting, trying to get their mates. But spring is also a great time to visit too, because you're more likely to see those cute baby animals as well. What animals can you actually see in Lamar Valley? Keep in mind that this is not a zoo, so they are wild animals doing their wild animal things, so there's no guarantee that you're going to see these animals on this list. You might see one or two, or maybe even none, depending on the day. That has never happened to me, but just keeping that in mind. Bison, elk, pronghorn antelope, coyotes, bald eagles, bighorn sheep, mule deer, trumpeter swans. And here are some animals that you are less likely to see, but there's still a possibility. Wolves, grizzly bears, and black bears. And some people have seen wolverines, but I know they're there, but I don't believe them. Do I need to pay a fee to visit Lamar Valley? Yes, because Lamar Valley is located within the boundaries of Yellowstone National Park, you will have to pay a park entry fee. The standard fee is $35, which allows you to enter the park for 7 days. Yellowstone also has an annual pass for $70 that allows you to enter in as many times as you would like throughout the year. And then of course there is the America the Beautiful Pass, which if you are visiting more than 3 national parks within a year, I highly recommend it because it will pay for itself. How far is Lamar Valley from the north entrance of the park? Lamar Valley is about a 35-minute drive from the north entrance, and this is if there is no traffic or wildlife congestion, which there might be, and that might require you to take a bit more time to get there. How far is Lamar Valley from Mammoth Hot Springs? It's about a 30-minute drive, so it shaves off about that 5 minutes from the north entrance. How far is Lamar Valley from West Yellowstone? The distance from West Yellowstone to Lamar Valley is about an hour and a half, and again, that is if there isn't any traffic or wildlife congestion. I do expect that it could take a little bit longer too during the popular months, just because you have to drive through some of the more popular areas of the park. Where should I stay if I am planning on visiting Lamar Valley? My recommendation, if you are just looking to do Lamar and nothing else within Yellowstone, is to stay in Gardner, which is just outside the north entrance of the park. Should I take a tour of Lamar Valley? It is totally up to you whether or not you would want to take a tour of this area. If you're a photographer and you are really looking for that shot of the wildlife, then it can be really helpful to have some expert help finding them. However, if you're kind of just looking to enjoy the area and see what you want to see, then you can totally do that just by finding a turnout and camping out there for a while to watch the wildlife. I do have a recommended tour in my blog post that you might want to check out if you want some extra help, but know that you can totally do this yourself if you'd like. I hope this has helped you plan your time for Lamar Valley. If you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, you're going to get more videos about Yellowstone and our other national parks. I also recommend you check out my custom national park itinerary service if you are looking for help planning your trip. I offer a 15-minute call where you can ask me any questions about your trip, and then as well I can help create a custom plan that is just right for you.